Today we're going to examine the impact of the figure of Mary Shelley's mother, notable philosopher and feminist writer Mary Wollstonecraft. We're going to think about what impact she had on Frankenstein. So have a look at these images of Romantic era women. What do you notice? Some words we might use to describe women of the late 18th and early 19th centuries would be demure, vulnerable, maybe overly emotional. Of course, this is a caricature of the way in which men and women were seen to be different. However, one really important distinction was widely believed at the time and clearly had an impact on Mary Shelley's writing. In fact, it's something we see at the very beginning of Frankenstein when Victor starts to tell his story and is talking about his mother and his sister Elizabeth. So emotions were seen to be a female thing. Rational thought was seen as male by contrast. We know that 20th century feminists would use the theory of deconstruction, described of course by French theorist Jacques Derrida, to criticise this binary understanding of gender. However, imagine you lived in a world where that binary wasn't questioned, wasn't pulled apart, wasn't deconstructed, where it was generally held to be true. If you were a woman, it would be expected that you were an emotionally intelligent person, that you were able to express your feelings clearly and were deeply nurturing as a result. It was understood that women weren't capable of rational thought. Think about it in the most basic terms, using an analogy you might recognise some truth in. If our school environment was the late 18th century, all of the girls would be studying emotionally expressive subjects like music, art, English. All of the boys, on the other hand, would be studying maths, physics and economics, things that followed scientific principles and rules. Now, this oversimplification is an illustration of the two different ways of seeing things in the world of 1818 when Mary Shelley wrote Frankenstein. The Enlightenment was considered rational, scientific and therefore male. Romantic writers, though they were majority male, were looking at the world in a way that was considered to be feminine. They valued the ability to express emotions and to understand the value of illogical or maybe irrational parts of human existence. In this context, Mary Wollstonecraft, Mary Shelley's mother, wrote a number of novels, philosophical treatises, and most famously, her work, The Vindication of the Rights of Woman. This was arguably the first feminist treatise in the English language. In it, she argues that women are not naturally inferior to men, but appear to be only because of their lack of education, because they were denied formal education in 18th century, 19th century society. So to find out more about her life and work and the impact that her thinking had on her daughter Mary Shelley, I'd like you to listen to David Runciman's Thinking Politics podcast, which I've linked in the description to this video. As you're listening, ask yourself, how are women depicted in Mary Shelley's novel? And is this what you would expect from the daughter of one of the 18th century's most famous feminist thinkers? Is this novel what you'd expect from Mary Wollstonecraft's daughter?